All right. I know what some of you guys are thinking. I know some of you guys immediately might be going to the comments like, just hold up, give me a chance. I know a lot of you are gonna be saying, bro, Aki's dead, he doesn't need to come back, blah 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 blah. I get it, just hear me out. I have an interesting theory that could make sense, a lot of sense, in the scale of like where Chainsaw Man is gonna go, especially when it comes to part 2. So let's jump into it. So first things first, right? And I think I want to establish this. I'm gonna bring up some couple of panels to use as an example. But if you guys remember, I believe it was in chapter, let me pull up the chapter here. It was in chapter 91 when Denji's in that dumpster with Power, right? When she's saving him and telling him that, you know, in turn of her protecting him, that he comes and finds her later. She literally verbatim says, Denji, go find the Blood Devil. Find them, make friends with them somehow, and turn the Blood Devil back into Power again. So now hear me out. We know that the devils cannot die, right? The personalities, quote unquote, get sent to hell, right? When devils die in this world, they're reborn in hell. So their bodies are in hell. He can go back and get these bodies. Now remember that Aki was turned into the Gun Devil. So I think Chainsaw Man Part 2, from what we know that Denji's going to be focusing a lot on school. It's going to be focused on his character and, you know, probably getting smarter and all this good stuff. But I think there's genuinely a possibility that once Denji finds out how to go to hell, retrieve the bodies, and then he's going to go on this quest to figure out how to revive their personalities. So honestly speaking, the potential of Reze, Power, and Aki is all there. Now, a lot of people are going to argue, well, Aki was not originally a devil. He was turned into a devil, and that's exactly it. He was merged in with the devil. So, if he was once a part of the Gun Devil, what makes it though that, you know, Denji can't find the Gun Devil once again and then this time revive it with his personality? Like, if there's a way to bring back Power inside the devil that she would belong to, I think there's a way to bring back the Gun Devil within the context of Aki. Now, before we touch back on Aki, because that's like the main focal point, but I really want to go more thoroughly into him because he's my favorite character in the series and I want to go more into detail of him. A couple ones I want to touch upon are like Power and Reze. I think what's gonna make obviously Power is like the little sister, and then Reze is most likely the love interest. A couple of ideas I've had for like would be really dope to see how Reze comes back is like, because both of them were not in school, and it would be awesome to see, like, you know, Denji just chilling in the classroom, bored as hell in class, just looking out the window. Next thing you know, transfer student arrives and in comes Reze, and she makes this big deal knowing who Aki is, and everybody in the classroom is jealous. I would just love to see that interaction of everybody freaking out the fact that Reze is acquainted with Denji, because I could see at first everybody being really terrified of Denji and staying away from him, and then the class slowly, you know, growing attached to Denji, building that relationship, right? Because he's not going to be the best at building these relationships. And then in terms of Power, I don't really have much thoughts on her. Obviously we know that she's definitely coming back. The way Power like kind of dipped out of the series, and she said like she's probably gonna be the first one to be back, to be honest. Okay, so my boy Aki, I think there is so much insane potential for Aki in part 2. It is absolutely insane. So I also want to preface this that if Aki never returns, it is perfectly fine. I'm content with how his character arc ended. I think it ended beautifully. The way it thematically played into his character from the very beginning when we got his backstory, and then how it tied in with the snowball fight with Denji was absolutely amazing. So if he never comes back, I'm perfectly content with that. But I genuinely believe that that might not be the case, right? And obviously, as I mentioned before, with how the combination of the Gun Devil is, we gotta also remember, when Aki comes back, if he does, he's gonna have no idea what he's done. And when he does find out what he does, that's gonna put like a crazy toll on his character. And then imagine how insane it's gonna be, that what kind of life that Aki's gonna have to live, because he's the Gun Devil, and you know the whole world hates the Gun Devil because of everything that he's done. So everybody hates him. So it's gonna go from like everyone being praising Denji for saving him from because they were cheering Chainsaw Man from defeating the Gun Devil, to like looking down on him because now he's protecting the Gun Devil, once Aki gets outed, and if he gets outed, I could see Aki living a very difficult life and then having to prove himself that, you know, he's not the Gun Devil that was controlled over. Now he has control over the Gun Devil, and he could do good with it, and he's not gonna feel as powerless as he felt before, and he wasn't able to fully go up against, you know, the rest of the characters. I think what also makes it really interesting is that with the return of the Gun Devil, with the return of you know, Power and Reze, and I don't know what direction, I can't even predict the direction Makima is gonna go, so that's gonna be very fascinating to think about. But I feel like we haven't even met the true antagonist of the series. I feel like there's gonna be a much larger plot. I can't find the tweet. If I do, I'll link it down in the description below, or put it up on the screen. If you don't see it, then obviously I couldn't find it. But I'm pretty sure there was this statement from Fujimoto that he, you know, when he was heading towards the end of part 1, that he's planning to make this, like, he said that something like along the lines of, like, he's only 1/3 done the series. He felt like there's like still 2/3 left. So if that's really the case, I think part 2 is going to really focus on Denji really developing and growing as a character, with bringing back Aki and Power and Reze and all these characters. I don't know how I don't think Makima's coming back. I think that kind of whole thing is done. I think he's gonna be raising that little girl, the little tiny version of Makima, and I think we're gonna start getting introduced to and set up for the big bad of the series, which will lead into the rest of the cast going up against them in part 3. But we're still so far away from that. We're still waiting on part 2. I was originally gonna make this video way closer to the announcements of Chainsaw Man part 2, but I couldn't resist. I really wanted to talk to Aki, and plus I needed something to upload. I can't go too long without uploading. Alright guys, so that's pretty much everything I wanted to talk about when it comes to Aki. Let me know what you guys think about the theory. Do you think Aki can return? I think there's a lot of potential there. I think it'd be really cool to see Aki fully return, see his character, you know, continue to grow, see how he matures, see how he conquers the abilities of the Gun Devil, which is supposed to be one of the most powerful abilities. I could see Aki getting it, right? And then it'd be so like cool to think about when we see, like, if this happens, seeing like the chainsaw on the gun work together to defeat this big bad that might potentially come up later in the series. But with that being said, guys, thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know what you guys thought down below. I'll catch you guys later. Peace out.